Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a look at three high quality bank and financial sector ETFs that are available in US dollars. The first pick for us to take a look at is iShares US Financials ETF with ticker symbol IYF. It's a iShares BlackRock product. At the time of making this video, the last trading price for this fund was at $70.39 in US dollars. Year to date, at the end of almost at the end of March, by March 29th, this fund was down by 6%, almost 6%. And the expense ratio for this fund is at 0.39%. Why IVF? It actually provides exposure to US banks, insurers, and credit card companies. It's targeted access to domestic financial stocks, and it can be used to express a sector view towards financials sector. Looking at the performance of this fund, the IYF, you do notice that in the past 1 year, the funds is based on the market price is down by close to 5%. This is as of February 28th, 2023. The 3-year annual return, however, it's up by 10.6%. The 5-year annual return is hovering around that 7.5%. 10-year annual return as well is positive at close to 11%. If you look at the return annualized since its inception date based on the market price, it is at around 5.5%. Looking at additional details, for example, when this fund was incepted, the inception date goes back to May 22nd, 2000. This fund does have actually around $1.8 billion in assets under management. Looking at the specifics, particularly if you look at the distribution yield for this fund, the 12 months trading yield for that is currently at 1.77%. It's, however, worthwhile mentioning that these distributions overall are paid on a quarterly basis. We're going to be taking a look at some specifics around the holdings for this fund. If you look at the top 10 holdings, you're looking at companies such as Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, S&P Global Inc., Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock Inc., Citigroup, and Progressive Corporation. These are the top 10 holdings for this fund. In terms of the exposure breakdown by sector, almost half, close to 47% of exposure is to financial services. We have exposure to banks at around 30%, and the remaining 22% is exposure to insurance. Our second pick is one called the Financial Select Sector SPDR Fund, the ticker symbol XLF. It actually was last traded for the price of $31.87 as of the March 29th. And in terms of the asset under management for this fund, we're looking at close to $30.1 billion. That's just massive amounts of assets under management. This fund, XLF, seeks to provide investment results that, before expenses, correspond generally to the price and yield performance of the Financial Select Sector Index. And this index seeks to provide an effective representation of the financial sector of the United States S&P 500 index. It allows investors to take strategic or tactical positions at a more targeted level than traditional style-based investing. This fund actually has its inception going back to 1998, December 16, 1998, and its gross expense ratio is at 0.10%. As pointed out, it is available in US dollars, and it does pay its dividend distributions on a quarterly basis, similar to the other fund that we talked about earlier on. It has a total of 73 holdings as part of its fund, with a price to book ratio of 1.74 and a price to earnings ratio for financial period 1 of 13. If you look at the yield specific to this fund, the fund distribution yield, which is the sum of the most recent 12 distributions within the past 365 days divided by the net asset value per share expressed as a percentage, is showing to be at 2.19%. Looking at the past performance of this fund, as of February 28, 2023, by market value, the year-to-date return for it is positive 4.34%. 1-year return is down by 5.41%. 3-year return is annualized at 12.5 or 12.6%. 5-year annualized is at 6.5%. 10 years annualized is at 11.72%. If we have the performance by market value since the inception of this fund, it is at 4.9%. Lastly, if you look at the holdings, before we look at the specific breakdown by the sector, we are looking at companies including Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan, Visa, MasterCard, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, S&P Global, and Goldman Sachs, as well as BlackRock in terms of the top 10 holdings for this fund, which corresponds closely to that of the index that it's trying to closely follow. And in terms of the industry breakdown for this fund, the majority of it is actually financial services. Following that, we have the banks at 24.4%, capital market at almost 22%, and insurance at around 16.7%. There's some exposure as well, around 4% to consumer finance. And lastly, our third and final pick is Vanguard Financials ETF, the ticker symbol VFH. It's a product offered by Vanguard. It has an expense ratio of 0.10%. The last market price as of March 30th was $76.98 USD. This fund has been showing actually the 30-day SEC yield of 2.20%, which is very much similar to the yield that we saw earlier for XLF. It seeks to track the performance of a benchmark index that measures the investment return of stocks in the financial sector. It's actually passively managed, uses a full replication strategy when possible, and a sampling strategy if regulatory constraints dictate. It includes stocks of companies that provide financial services. From a risk rating, it's on the 5 at the highest range of that, the risk rate and scale. If you look at the more specific details around the 52-week low and 52-week high price, you do notice the last trading price for this fund is hovering a lot closer to their 52-week low price. The highest price that this fund has reached in the past 1 year is at $93.41. In the chart, you do see as well the performance of investment in different time horizons. I hope you found this video beneficial and gained something of value from it. We covered 3 high-quality exchange-traded funds that give you exposure to the financial sector and the industries related to that in the US dollars. I would love to hear from you if you are invested in any specific funds or ETFs or even stocks that gives you exposure to financial sector. Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video and gained something of value from it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone else who might benefit from it. And of course, subscribe to our channel. Here on Moementum Finance, we post every week videos about investing, including investing in dividend stocks, growth stocks, and penny stocks. We also talk about ways to reach financial freedom. Thank you, and I hope to see you all next time.